Lights! Camera! Action! Velvet McNally clapped her hands. This is so exciting, Elizabeth. I can't believe I'm watching a real-life movie shoot. Quiet! A clipboard-bearing man bellowed, or I'll have the set closed. He gave us a furious glare, his right cheek bulging with chewing gum, and Velvet dipped her head and mumbled, "Sorry." Quite all right, Gary. Enthusiasm does get the better of attractive young women sometimes. The director turned in his chair and gave my friend a smile and a slow wink. Which is why we love them so. Velvet giggled and blushed to the roots of her sleek blonde hair. I refrained from rolling my eyes. As the manager of a Catskills resort, I've learned not to let my feelings show on my face. Not too much, anyway. Now, shall we try again? The director said. Miss Grant, when you are ready, which I sincerely hope is this very moment. The woman in front of the camera lifted her arms, and the emerald green silk of her dress flared around her. It was a hot day, and the sun was strong, but she appeared cool and composed, hair and makeup flawless, dress unwrinkled. She cried, "This is a mistake, Reginald. You'll regret it for the rest of your life." "I have to take a chance, Grandmamma," the heartbreakingly handsome man facing her said. "Surely you, of all people, can understand that." A light wind blew off the lake and rustled his slightly too long black hair. He wore perfectly tailored, casual beige slacks, an open-necked shirt, and his accent was direct from the Upper East Side. The camera, mounted on a tripod of legs on a wooden plank, closed in on her. One man stood behind it, peering through the lens, while another crouched alongside, guiding the big wheels. 2 canisters containing film were mounted on the top. A box, which I'd been told held sound recorders, dangled from a boom held above the actors' heads. Even though it was full daylight, giant lamps poured light onto the actors' faces. "I've made mistakes, Reginald," the woman said, her own aristocratic voice breaking with emotion. "Dreadful mistakes. I don't want to see—" I touched Velvet lightly on the arm to get her attention, and when I had it, I raised my eyebrows and tapped my watch. She shook her head and mouthed, "Nothing." I nodded, gave her a wiggle of my fingers to say goodbye, and turned my back on the lake and the movie shoot. I couldn't get over the number of people and the amount of equipment needed to film one short scene in one Hollywood movie. A great many of the people seemed to do nothing but hang around in the background, looking bored and smoking one cigarette after another. I carefully negotiated my way past catering tables laden with lunch and cold drinks, and around the maze of thick black cables crisscrossing the lawn, up the small hill toward the main hotel building. We employ our own security staff, of course, but the movie had brought theirs, who were keeping an eye on the crowd. This was a well-heeled, well-behaved bunch, and the guards didn't have much to do. I could understand why Velvet, the outdoor activities coordinator of Haggerman's Catskills resort, had nothing to do today. Almost every one of our guests was gathered on the hillside watching movie magic being made. Who would want to do calisthenics on the dock, take a paddleboat out for a slow tour of the lake, or play rounds of tennis when the great Gloria Grant was being directed by the equally great Elias Theropodous? Not only guests were entranced by the movie production. At the sight of me rapidly crossing the lawn and rounding the flower beds, hotel staff scurried inside, where they would pretend to be hard at work. Various paths meet in front of the hotel at a circular flower bed, into which a tall pole, filled with brightly painted direction signs, points to the swimming pool, the beach, the boat dock, the tennis and handball courts, the cabins, and the parking lot. Something had been nibbling at the flowers at the base of the sign, and the earth was disturbed, as though tunnels were being dug beneath. As it was unlikely to be anything that would threaten the foundation of the hotel, I simply made a mental note to ask the head gardener about it. In the circular driveway that sweeps around the front entrance, a group of bellhops were clustered around Mr. Theropodous' shiny baby blue 1953 Buick Skylark, while cars tried to edge past it. Another bunch of my male employees peered into the back of the equipment van pulled onto the verge and chatted to the movie technician. "Excuse me," I said to Mr. Theropodous' chauffeur, a tall, thin, scraggy-faced black man in his late 60s, dressed in a plain dark uniform. "I'm sorry, but you can't park here. You're blocking the driveway." He touched his uniform cap. "Apologies, ma'am. Mr. Theropodous instructed me to remain here with the car." "Perhaps he did, but this is my resort, and I'm instructing you to park around the back. With the exception of that one truck, in case something's urgently needed, we agreed that your cars, equipment trucks, and trailers use our staff parking lot. I need you to park there with them." He lowered his eyes and shifted his feet. "Mr. Theropodous insists that the car be available the instant he's ready to leave. He's staying at Kennelwood, ma'am." "Yes, I know that." The director and most of the major cast had rooms at Kennelwood Hotel, a resort considerably larger and more famous than us. The crew and lower-ranking actors were stuck in an assortment of bungalow colonies or cheap hotels near the town of Somervale. Only Gloria Grant herself was staying at Haggerman's, and that's because she'd taken my room in the house I share with my mother. Olivia Peters, the resort owner.